My question is to the Minister for Education, Training and Skills. When did the Minister become aware that students were able to use a writing assistance app in their SACE English exam, and will he now take steps to stop it in the future?
Minister.
Well, thank you, Speaker, and I thank the member for Morialta for his question. And precisely when I was alerted to the fact that students in their SACE exams, Mr. Speaker, had access to what is referred to as Grammarly, which I understand is an app which is embedded into a website which gives students who are using that website access to things like spell checking and grammar checking and things like that. I'll have to come back to the member on precisely when I heard that access had first been allowed to that app, but I can say now that both the Acting Chief Executive of SACE, Michaela Bensley, and the Chief Executive of the Department for Education, Professor Westwell, have both said this morning that that was an error and access should not have been given to Grammarly. They have been at pains to say, Mr. Speaker, but that they don't think that those students who didn't have access to Grammarly will be in any way disadvantaged by the fact that some of their classmates or other Year 12 students taking those exams did. But I have, of course, asked for some advice from both Ms Bensley and Mr Westwell about what specifically will be done to make sure access is not given again, because I agree with the sentiments of both Acting CE and CE that it is not ideal, and I think we can probably safely say, Mr Speaker, that even if no students were disadvantaged through this process, having all this conjecture and speculation about the fact that some students did does not really go to the integrity of the SACE, and we want to avoid situations like that one at all costs. So I'm happy to come back to the member for Morialta on the specifics of when we were first alerted to the fact that access had been given, and I'll also happily furnish this place with further detail around what is exact and precise steps are being taken to make sure that students can't have access to something like that again.
Member for Morialta.
Thank you, sir. My supplementary question is, will the Minister ensure that the SACE Board prevents the use of Grammarly in subsequent SACE exams this year?
Minister.
Well, I thank the member for Morialta for his question again. I understand those steps are already underway. I can't give the member for Morialta the IT specifics. I must admit I'd never heard of Grammarly before. Many people in this chamber are probably in the same boat. I remember when spell checking was a very new thing. So I can't give you the member for Morialta those specifics around exactly how access to Grammarly and anything like that is being ensured, but I'm happy to get those details. But I have been reassured by both the SACE and Professor Westwell that steps have been taken already to make sure that that cannot happen again, and I think that is absolutely the proper and right course of action.